My name is Daniel Kim. I am 35 years old, and I live in Seattle, Washington, a city that always seems to be buzzing with innovation and ambition. I have always been the kind of person who believes in putting in the work, the one who shows up early and leaves late, convinced that dedication and loyalty would always pay off. My world revolved around my career in the fast-paced tech industry, a place where expectations were high and the pace relentless. I was a project manager at Nexacore, a mid-sized software company that prided itself on being at the cutting edge. I genuinely enjoyed my job, and I was incredibly proud of the team I led. We were building software that felt important, that made a real difference, and I felt a strong sense of purpose being part of it. Outside of work, my life was equally fulfilling. My wife, Mia, and I had been dreaming of starting a family for years. We had gone through so much, so many hopes and disappointments, but when we finally found out we were expecting, it was like a missing piece of our lives clicked into place. It was a joy that overshadowed everything else. My boss, Mr. Richard Evans, was a formidable figure at Nexacore. He was sharp, incredibly ambitious, and seemed to possess an uncanny ability to predict market trends. He was widely respected for his business acumen, but there was also an undercurrent of fear among the employees. He had a well-known reputation for being utterly ruthless when it came to achieving results, often prioritizing profit over people. I always tried to stay on his good side, consistently delivering on my promises and never missing a deadline, hoping my consistent performance would shield me from his harsher side. The day Mia went into labor was also the day we were in the final stages of a major product launch at Nexacore. I had meticulously planned for my absence, delegating tasks, preparing detailed notes, and ensuring my team was fully equipped to handle everything while I was away. I had formally filed for paternity leave, a benefit the company proudly advertised as part of its progressive culture. I truly believed I had done everything by the book, that my commitment to both my family and my job was clear. But when I returned to the office 2 weeks later, still basking in the glow of new fatherhood, the reality of the corporate world hit me hard. I was immediately called into Mr. Evans's office. He didn't even bother to look up from his computer screen as he delivered the news that I was being let go. His voice was flat, devoid of emotion. He stated that the company required individuals who were fully committed, who wouldn't abandon their responsibilities at critical moments. I tried to explain, to remind him of my preparations, of the importance of being there for my newborn son, but he cut me off abruptly. He simply repeated that it was nothing personal, just business. I walked out of his office in a daze, the words echoing in my ears. The shock was immense, quickly followed by a wave of humiliation and burning anger. I had poured my heart and soul into Nexacore, sacrificing countless hours, and in return, I was discarded for prioritizing my family. The immediate concern was how I would support Mia and our precious son, Ethan. The tech world, despite its vastness, is surprisingly small, and news travels fast. I spent days sending out resumes, but the responses were few and far between. I started hearing whispers, rumors that Mr. Evans had painted me as unreliable, as someone who couldn't handle pressure. My confidence, once a solid foundation, began to crumble. I started to doubt myself, questioning if I had made a monumental mistake by putting my family first. The bills began to pile up, a constant, nagging reminder of my precarious situation. The stress was a heavy weight, eating away at my peace of mind. I tried desperately to maintain a brave face for Mia and Ethan, to shield them from my internal turmoil, but inside, I felt like I was slowly falling apart. Then, one evening, as I was aimlessly scrolling through the news on my phone, a headline jumped out at me. Nexacore stock plummets after major security breach. My heart pounded in my chest as I devoured the article. The product my team had launched, the very one I had been working on before my leave, had a critical flaw. It was a vulnerability I had identified and documented in my notes, a warning I had left for the team. But without my direct oversight, the team had somehow missed it, or perhaps ignored it. Now, the company was facing a barrage of lawsuits, angry customers, and a public relations nightmare. The stock price had plummeted overnight, wiping out millions in market value, and the tech community was buzzing with speculation. I felt a strange, complex mix of emotions. There was a definite sense of satisfaction, a grim vindication that Mr. Evans was finally facing the consequences of his actions, of his short-sightedness and his disregard for his employees. But there was also a pang of sadness for my former colleagues, many of whom were my friends, who were now caught in the fallout. I didn't wish ill upon them. Over the next few weeks, something unexpected began to happen. My phone started ringing with calls from recruiters. They had seen my name in the news, connected to the ill-fated project, and they were curious. They wanted to hear my side of the story. I explained everything, calmly and clearly. How I had identified the flaw, how I had tried to do the right thing by taking paternity leave, and how I had been unjustly punished for it. People listened. They understood. Soon after, I received an incredible offer from a new company, one that explicitly valued work-life balance and demonstrated a genuine respect for family commitments. The pay was significantly better, and the company culture felt healthier, more supportive. It was like being given a second chance, a fresh start I desperately needed. Meanwhile, Nexacore continued its downward spiral. The pressure mounted on Mr. Evans, and he was eventually forced to step down from his position. The company brought in new leadership, desperate to salvage its reputation and financial standing. Some of my old teammates reached out to me, expressing their apologies for not having stood up for me when I was fired. I told them I understood. It's incredibly difficult to challenge someone in a position of power, especially when your own livelihood is on the line. As I settled into my new role, embracing the challenges and the supportive environment, a profound realization dawned on me. Losing my job at Nexacore, as devastating as it felt at the time, was perhaps the best thing that could have happened to me. It forced me to reevaluate my priorities. I was able to spend invaluable time with Mia and Ethan, watching my son grow and experiencing the profound joys of fatherhood. I no longer measured my worth by my job title or by the fleeting approval of a demanding boss. I found a deeper sense of fulfillment in being truly present for my family and in doing work that genuinely aligned with my personal values. Sometimes, I still think back to that day in Mr. Evans's office, the cold, dismissive way he had ended my career there. I wonder if he ever regretted his decision, if the consequences of his actions ever truly weighed on him. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But I know, with absolute certainty, that I am stronger, wiser, and happier for having gone through that ordeal. I learned a powerful lesson, that standing up for what is right, even when it comes at a significant personal cost, can ultimately lead to something far better, something more authentic and rewarding. And just when I thought the story was truly over, that all the loose ends were tied, I received a surprising letter in the mail. It was from Nexacore's new CEO, a formal invitation asking if I would consider returning to help rebuild the company, to lend my expertise to their recovery efforts. I smiled, a genuine, contented smile, as I folded the letter neatly and placed it in a drawer. I had already found what I was looking for, and it wasn't a return to the past. It was a future built on integrity, family, and true success.